Welcome back to the Arsenal podcast, guys. As we aspire to go back to the Champions League, we are seated 14th of the table, but that doesn't matter because I'm here with the transfers and the daily news update around Arsenal, the Emirates Stadium, Mikel Arteta's press conference. We have a Europa League game tomorrow. Gabriel Martinelli is coming back. Thomas Partey could be on his edge to come back, and how Aouar as well is one of the other players that we are going to be talking about because it seems he is back in the news, back and strong as he was in the summer when all of us thought maybe Arsenal had the chance to take him at the Emirates Stadium, but we failed. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to be dropping a link. If you want to join me live, you'll be doing that. Phone in, call in, get in your fan cams, getting in your videos, and tell me what you think about this video. I'm starting right now with Thomas Partey. Mikel Arteta has been talking about Thomas Partey in his pre-match press conference ahead of our Europa League clash. We are left with 2 games. We have already qualified through, which is good news for us in the Europa League. But we have, of course, there isn't so much to talk about in the Premier League, at least not so much of good news. But he has been saying that Thomas Partey wants to come back as soon as possible, and he wants to play against Tottenham Hotspur. Of course, he gave us a big injury update as we were going to verse Wolves, and he said that it was something that was... It is an injury that's not so easy. It is something that, you wouldn't let such a player come back so easily. So probably you would understand Mikel Arteta for not playing Thomas Partey over the past 2 weekends. The injury is sustained, although the player wants to come back, although we want Thomas Partey to come back, we are desperate for him to come back. We are desperate that he should be coming back. Maybe it is not time for him to come back. So he's saying that the player wants to play against Tottenham Hotspur. We need him. We are on a very bad run. We have a stinking midfield. Probably you want Thomas Partey to come back. Everybody wants Thomas Partey to come back in the squad. We don't care if he's coming back under injury or he's coming back well fit. We just want to see Thomas Partey, but the fitness of the player and how good and all those things do matter. So Mikel Arteta has been talking to the press today, and he was saying that yes, the player wants to come back against Spurs. He wants to play against Spurs, but it will still depend on whether he is fit enough, whether he's good enough to play against Spurs. In my opinion, we have so bad. We have very bad midfielders. I really get sick when I see that partnership between Ceballos and Granit Xhaka on the pitch. I don't want to see them. I just don't want to see them. But again, if I think about Arsenal losing Thomas Partey because of recklessness, you might want to bring him against Tottenham Hotspur, and then you lose him the whole season. He is the only midfielder we have, for Christ's sake. So I would rather side with Mikel Arteta for this time and say, let him get back when he is ready. I don't mean to say that we don't need Thomas Partey, but I think it's better to let him come back when he is ready. But I want your thoughts on that. What do you think about Thomas Partey? He wants to play. Obed, big up my man, Obed, and the relentless Guna. Of course, if you want to get in your views, use the comment box, but I can also give you a live link. You'll be joining me live. The next piece of news is about the young lad, Gabriel Martinelli. Again, Mikel Arteta said, come out and confirm that the young lad is training very hard, training so well. Maybe he is coming back very soon. According to the medical team and their speculation and their anticipation, they had said that he was going to come back by the end of this year. So probably we have to wait for another 2, 3, 4 weeks for Gabriel Martinelli to come back. You look, Martinelli is a young kid, but what he offers to us, there is no doubt is that he's one of those top performers at the club. He's one of those players that you think the club is relying on. Trust me, with all this creativity and lack of goal-scoring opportunities and how blunt we are and how predictable we are and the lack of chances in front of goal, you need a player like Gabriel Martinelli. We need a player like Gabriel Martinelli, a player who can take on defenders, a player who can, do things on his own, because in that squad, that should have been Pepe, that should have been Willian. They're just not doing it. That should have been Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. They're not doing it. No. And that's why at times I think maybe it's not it's not because of Mikel Arteta. Maybe the players that ought to give him what they have to give him, they're just not doing that. Arsenal is a good team. Arsenal is a big team. We have a good manager, but we don't have a good squad. We don't have the quality. Right about now, if you have Bukayo Saka at his peak, maybe Gabriel Martinelli should have been out there, trying to perform the magic that he was trying to perform last season before he got injured. But it's been unlucky for the player because he was on a good run before he fell out on injury. It's a bit unlucky for the team. Mikel Arteta, he is out of options because such a talent like Gabriel Martinelli is out injured. So probably if he comes back, maybe it's going to be the January transfer window. It might be the January transfer window. It might be easier for him to break through the squad because for me, there isn't anyone who's going to, play football ahead of Gabriel Martinelli. Mikel Arteta, I'm not even really sure if Arteta will be manager when Gabriel Martinelli comes back. I'm not really sure because the next 4 games are really going. The next 4 weeks, starting this weekend, are really going to determine, do we stay with Mikel Arteta or does he go? Some of us have already, gotten frustrated and we're like, this guy should be leaving. Not because he's had, having bad results, but there isn't anything, I think this guy is going to add to this club. But again, I want to see him with a full squad. I want to see him with all his players on. I want to see how he selects the players, because one of his problems is selecting the good players. He selects the bad players and, in the wrong places. He gets in Bellerin. The guy's not performing. He plays Bellerin the whole season. He has played 10 games and he's not delivering. He doesn't change. So maybe I would just want to see Mikel Arteta with all his players fit. Maybe. So Gabriel Martinelli, Mikel Arteta says he's training hard, he's working hard, he's trying to come back as early and soon as possible. So let us wait for his potential return. It is maximally appreciated. Maximally appreciated. I'm telling you, if there is anything we want to hear as Arsenal fans, is that Gabriel Martinelli is back. I put a link in the comment section. Now you can join me live on the stream. Aouar is story number 3. News comes in and says that Arsenal will go back and try to sign Aouar in the January transfer window. It's not a bad story. It isn't a bad story. It's a good one. Very hopeful. Like, you feel like blood is flowing back. But I told you, we need to be so skeptical about stories that come when the transfer window is about or when the transfer window is on. We have to be very skeptical. But of course, there are pieces of news going around that Arsenal will go back for Aouar in the January transfer window. The man himself, my biggest journalist, Fabrice Roman, has just confirmed, of course, and he said that Arsenal will be going for a big deal in the January transfer window. And he said it might not be Dominic Szoboszlai alone. Arsenal will try to sign a player in that area where they lack. And he talked about players like Emi Buendia and Aouar. He said Arsenal will try to go back for the signature of Aouar. Now, the difference, or the bad part is, Aouar was talking to RM Sports in France, and he was asked whether he would be leaving Lyon for Arsenal or for any other club in the January transfer window. And he said he sees himself staying at Lyon in France for the next months until the summer. Now, that is where the problems are coming in. We were so close to signing Aouar. Everybody knows this. We were very close. It was as close as never. We are so close to getting Aouar. Personal terms are agreed. Almost everything was agreed. And somehow we messed around. We messed up. We never signed Aouar. Good enough. I think we went for Thomas Partey, which wasn't something bad. We have a 50 million player in our squad, the best midfielder, the only midfielder we have, because you think about Ceballos, Partey, Ceballos, Xhaka, all those partnerships don't work, but you know that we have a quality player in Thomas Partey. But so probably if we go for Houssema, guys, I want to believe that the problem we have is creativity. But for me, I believe the problem we have is a rotten midfield. Buying Houssema is okay, but it's not the. It must not be the end. If we buy, it shouldn't be either Houssema or Dominic Szoboszlai. It should be both of them. Right now, one of the things that are disturbing Mikel Arteta is who can push the ball forward. When Thomas Partey has that ball, who does he play with him? Who does he play with? That's the difference. When you have a quality player and the rest are shit, you just can't have the best of results. And that's why most teams, when they have a quality player, they try to surround him with quality. If you have Thomas Partey and you play him with Mohamed Elneny and Granit Xhaka, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. These players do not have the quality to fulfill and accompany the attributes of Thomas Partey. And that's why I've already said, if you are signing Thomas Partey, you've got to bring in Houssema, you've got to bring in a number 10, you've got to bring in a good striker, you've got to bring in a good defense, so that there is that interdependence, there is that, link between the sectors in the team. It's not in. Thomas Partey is a shining star that cannot lighten up all the dead wood we have in that squad. It just can't happen. But yes, Romano says Arsenal will try again for Houssema, but Houssema says he sees himself staying at Lyon. Of course, I would expect that. As a player, you've got to respect Lyon. Of course, I give him a lot of respect as Houssema, because it is Lyon that has made him the player he is. It is Lyon that has made him, the shining star. He's a good player, top quality. One of the things we lack at Arsenal, apart from the creativity, leave alone the creativity, it's not there. We don't create chances. We don't create the goal scoring opportunities. I understand and I agree with everybody on this stream when you say that. But the problem is carrying that ball forward. That is one of the problems we have. Carrying that ball forward. We are defensive with the ball and defensive without the ball. Nobody, absolutely nobody in that squad has the guts, has the energy, has the brains to take that ball forward. Everybody's thinking about taking that ball back. And when Thomas Partey got injured and Xhaka and Ceballos started playing in the midfield, we moved from being flat to being super flat. Absolutely clueless. No ideas in that midfield. Nobody thinks about going forward. Nobody has an idea how to break up a defensive opponent. Nobody has it. Willian, I don't know what he does. Dani Ceballos, the creative player, the creative link in the team, the shining star, the ought to be shining star in that team, for Christ's sake, doesn't do anything on that ball. Granit Xhaka, done and dusted, just waiting for his contract to expire and leave the club. Mohamed Elneny, we got him from loan almost. I don't even remember where he was on loan. We bring him back, and we are so happy that we have brought back Mohamed Elneny. For Christ's sake, Everton signed 3 quality midfielders: Alan, Hamis, and Didier Doucouré. They have a difference. I told you when we were starting the season that if you were telling me that Arsenal is going to finish top 4, do you compare our squad to Everton? Do you compare our squad to Leicester City? Do you compare our squad to Southampton? The answer was no. We were not good enough to compete with those clubs. And you can see the difference Leicester City have. They have a Maddison, they have a Tielemans, they have a Wilfred Ndidi. It's a complete team from us. A very different team. Southampton, they have a James Ward-Prowse. They have players that can take that ball forward. Everton, they take the ball forward. Leeds, simple Leeds from the Championship plays more entertaining football than Arsenal. Simple Leeds from the Championship plays more attacking football than Arsenal. It hits the woodwork 3 times versus Arsenal, and Arsenal doesn't have a shot on target in the game. And then you tell me that we need Houssema to solve the problems at Arsenal. He is not the player we need. We need more than Houssema. He's a player that you would add as a simple solution, but not all of it. We've been crying for a defender almost forever. We got a defender when at a time when the midfield was rotten, gone. Think about the times when we had players like Nasri, Fabregas, Song. What happened to that Arsenal? What happened to Arsenal having three quality midfielders in one team and everybody appreciates that quality? What happened to that? I'm really, these days I really get so emotional because of the performances. You'll excuse me, but I want to add in someone on the stream. Nathan,
What's going on?
how are you, blood?
I'm good, and you?
I'm not really good.
Uh,
I've been so disappointed by my club for the past, in the past games, Premier League games. We are really doing so bad. No creativity, no nothing. We look like a club that is ready for relegation, but we are not relegated because the season isn't over. That's how we look.
I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, this season, I really want the season to end. And I think we're like, 11, 10 games in?
Trust me.
Jesus, bro. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you remember my thoughts on Arteta, but
Yeah,
I mean, they let me tell you
You're
something.
right.
They haven't changed one bit, but
Yeah.
it is good news to hear that Partey, he might be back, but it's the same thing with I think Lacazette rushed back last season, and then he ended up getting injured again. So you got to take your time with it. And it's a muscle injury. It's not like a different type of injury. With muscle injuries, you got to take your time with it. And since he's somebody who relies on his pace, his like reaction, those kind of muscle injuries, they can actually affect him really bad. So you just need to make sure that he's fully fit. You don't want to rush him back into a action-packed game like Tottenham. So yeah.
Yeah, but bro, let us just start the transfer talk because I want to ask you your honest opinion. How many players do we need to get back to where we belong? In your opinion, you've been watching our games. I've been watching Arsenal games. I don't miss any game, and I will not miss any game this season. Or how many players do we need to get back to the standards we need? Because we look like a meetable team that is not bothered. But we are not. I would never accept Arsenal to be a meetable team because we are not and we have never been. How many players do we need? In your opinion, how many players do you think Arsenal needs to get back to the standards?
I think we need to talk about who we should be getting rid of.
Yeah, that's a big debate. Debate.
Because I mean, it's like having a dirty closet full of clothes and then bringing in new clothes. It's like you got to get rid of some of the dead wood. I mean, in terms of like players, I think I'd rather have Szoboszlai over Aouar. Not saying that Szoboszlai is a better like all around footballer than Aouar. I just think Szoboszlai. I think I take that back. I actually think Szoboszlai has like a higher ceiling than Aouar. And I mean, I watch Aouar. I've been watching Aouar this season. He's a good player, but he's not a number 10. And like a lot of Arsenal fans think he's a number 10. He's not a number 10. He's kind of like a number 8, but he likes to create from deep. So and he's not really that quick. I mean, he's good with the ball, but I'd rather have somebody like Szoboszlai. He can play on the wing. He can play at number 10. He can play inside mid if you want him to. He's a lot more versatile. I think we need someone like him, and maybe not so much this January window, but I think we do need a backup left back and a right back, like a first team, like starting right back.
Actually, in my opinion, you would use Isco as an example of how Sema were. If you had a player like Isco, you would need Szoboszlai again. I think, we should sign both of them. You have Thomas Partey, have Sema and have Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is the January transfer signing. By January, he's going to be off the market. There isn't going to be any other, chances to sign, Szoboszlai. So we should get him in the January transfer window. But Sema, like you said, he is a deep creative midfielder. Why don't we have both of them? This club is just it can make you sick as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, but
You can get sick.
but what this club has done to the fans is that the fact that we're sitting here talking about, oh, should we have this or him? What Arsenal Football Club? We should say, nah, we want both of them.
Exactly.
If we were Chelsea could have easily said, you know what, we want Ziyech, we want Werner, but we have to choose which one. They said, what? No, we're getting both of them. So I think, I don't know, in the ideal world, I would want both of them, but
it might not
Arsenal
be
club.
Let us go into the debates. Who needs to leave? Who needs to get, who do we need to get rid of? And then we shall be looking at how we can replace them, maybe because January is close. Are you contented with the performances of Hector Bellerin, however much he has played 10 out of 10 games this season? Well, I think his mic is okay. He's back. Are you there, Nathan?
Oh wait, because I didn't hear what you said. I think you just freeze.
Yeah, I was saying, how contented are you with Hector Bellerin? He has played 10 games out of 10 this season. Are you impressed with his performances?
Bellerin, because like you keep on breaking up. Are you talking about Hector Bellerin?
Yeah, Hector Bellerin.
I don't think he's good enough. Statistically this season he's got a couple of assists, which is good. But if you use the eye test, he's been really, really poor this season. Just getting pushed off the ball. And his overall play, I feel like as a right back, he's not quick enough anymore. I feel like he still has pace, but the acceleration has gone down massively. You know what I mean? And I feel like physically he's not good enough. The way he gets pushed off the ball, the way he just gets some players just take the piss out of him. It's just like a lot of teams target Hector Bellerin, and for some reason, it just goes to prove that.
Yeah.
It just goes to prove that Arteta has his favorites, because if Arteta knows football, he knows that Hector Bellerin is not good enough to start for Arsenal. But
exactly, and I thought he was one of those players we had an opportunity to offload in the summer. If we could have offloaded Hector Bellerin, we should have gotten another a better player. There were better players. Mark Sarens was there. We had a chance to sign Mark Sarens. We were linked with Mark Sarens, but we always go for the worst quality. We always go for the worst players. We always never decide to go for the better thing. And this is what I've been telling people, that the better thing Liverpool have against Arsenal is Liverpool's budget and Arsenal's budget are quite similar. They're quite similar. Liverpool are never going to spend 200 million every summer. They don't do that, but they spend smart. That's the difference they have. They spend smart. But we are keeping a Hector Bellerin. He doesn't cross the ball anymore. He doesn't run after attackers anymore. His wing is always used as an avenue. And Mikel Arteta, to justify the reason as to why this guy didn't leave, is giving him every game and is costing us games. Where do we go? I'm not sure. But the midfield, nothing. The midfield. What have you made of the performances of Granit Xhaka, Dani Ceballos this season, and Jose Willock?
I think all of them have been poor except for Joe Willock. I mean, when he's played in the Europa League, he's looked pretty good. But Granit Xhaka, he's poor. Dani Ceballos he's been really, 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 really bad. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. He's been so poor this season.
Nathan, even last season, he had few good performances at the end of the season. The rest of the season, before, I think around 6-7 games at the end, not even 6, I think around 5 games at the end of the season, he was poor. But we decided to bring him back because of the 3, 4, 5 games he played at the end of the season. I think it was a wrong decision to bring him back.
It depends. I think they already knew that they weren't gonna get Aouar, because if they were gonna get Aouar, there's no need for Danny Ceballos. If you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I
yeah,
think,
you're right.
like I said, Mikel Arteta, he picks his favorites, and I do think Danny Ceballos might become that favorite. You know what I mean? Like he sometimes he kind of switches his favorites, because I remember Cedric Suarez is his player, but because he's so close to Hector Bellerin, he keeps on picking him and picking him and picking him and picking him. So I mean, Granit Xhaka, he's another one that he begged begged him to stay. You know, a lot of Arsenal fans are telling me, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of the dead wood. We're gonna get rid of the bad players." But Arteta wants to keep these bad players. He wants to keep Hector Bellerin. He wants to keep Granit Xhaka. He wants to keep Mustafi. He wants to keep David Luiz. So they're not going anywhere. So it's either you sack Mikel Arteta, or you just maybe keep him and hope that we somehow stay. I don't know, in the Premier League. I don't know we might get relegated where we're moving. So these midfielders, and like I said, in the when the transfer window was going on, it's the reason that we needed two midfielders and not one, because we lose Partey, we just go back to the same team we were before before we got him. So nothing's really changed. If you know what I'm saying.
Exactly. I talked about this in the transfer window, and I said if Thomas Partey got injured, we are going back to the same old Arsenal that finished 8th, and we are straight back into that position without any more queries. But listen to this, Nathan. This Sunday we have Tottenham Hotspur at the White Hart Lane. We shall take on Southampton. After that, we shall take on Burnley actually. After that, they will take on Southampton, Everton, Manchester City, and Chelsea. Is this when Mikel Arteta is going to get sacked?
If I'm being honest, win, lose, or draw against Tottenham, I would sack him. It doesn't matter if we win 3-0, 5-0, I'll still sack him.
Yeah, I would still sack him as well. Yeah.
The reason why I would wait after the Tottenham game is because, the game after that is Burnley. So then, right now, if I was the Arsenal board, which I doubt they're doing, but if I was the Arsenal board, I would be talking to Allegri. I would be talking to different managers, being like, you know what, after Sunday we're gonna part ways so that you can come in. But looking at that Tottenham game, I don't really know what's gonna happen, because you never know. Football is unpredictable, and that's why we love the sport. You know what I'm saying? So you can easily go there and get a draw. You can even get a win. But right now, it's looking like we're gonna get absolutely. They're gonna put us to the sword, and they're gonna want to prove something, because a lot of people are saying Tottenham are gonna win the league, and this is why I say you need an experienced manager, because people are saying Tottenham can win the league because of their manager, not the club.
Because of Mourinho. Yeah,
because if Mourinho was not there, nobody would be saying, "Oh, they'll be like, oh, typical Spurs." But because they have a winner, they are saying, yes, Spurs can actually win this. So that's why I say having an experienced manager to come and pick up these players and say, you know what, they might not be good enough, but I can at least get this team to a 6th place finish, a 5th place finish. Because if you take this team and you give it a proper manager, this team is at least good enough to challenge for top 4. I'm not going to say to get into top 4, but if you add 2 or 3 players, quality players, this team is good enough to get into top 4. I mean, come on, we shouldn't be 14th. Come on.
We shouldn't be 14th, but it really hurts me to see Arsenal in that position, and I'm like, how do we overturn this? Nobody's good in the league this season, but we are the worst. Trust me, 2-3 games from now, there is a possibility that Arsenal will be in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
And what hurts most is you don't hear anything like Mikel Arteta is under pressure, or he has been given 3 games, nothing, absolutely nothing. This guy is sitting comfortably.
But because one thing you have to understand is that this is Arsenal. Arsenal have never ever been that club to sack managers. And I go on the football terrace and I see Arsenal fans saying, oh, but there's no point in sacking Mikel Arteta because the board and da 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 da. So what do you want us to do? Is to go into relegation, or is that the
You know,
plan?
that's absolutely crazy. That's absolute crap. If a manager is not doing what he has to do, then he has to leave. The good thing Arteta says he knew he would be sacked the day he became manager. Then sack him and get in someone who can work under the conditions that you have. You just can't sit back and see a big club like us drown. If Stan Kroenke right now saw this club, you think it's going to be a burden to the next manager, the next owner. Probably, they're not going to make any profit. And he's going to sell, if he's going to sell, he's going to sell us at a point where the club is not making any profit. So the next owner is also going to inherit problems that have been created by Stan Kroenke and the Stan Kroenke, association and foundation and so on. They brought in Mikel Arteta. Of course, Arteta is a yes man. He has become a yes man. I've told you this over and over, that when you watch his press conferences, you see it. You can see that Arteta has become a yes man. He protects the board. That's his role now. Protect the board. They're giving me money. They're backing me. But what are they doing to back you? If they were backing you, we would be seeing things like they're giving you two midfielders at a time where your midfield is empty. They would have given you a goal scorer when at a time, and they're giving you players. Really, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, man.
If we were Chelsea,
yeah,
Arteta would be. If we were Chelsea fans, if we had Chelsea fan base mindset, you know how Chelsea are. Like, I know a lot of Chelsea fans. I'm sure. I'm not too sure what country you're from, but I'm sure in the whole continent of Africa, there's a bunch of Chelsea fans. They have that elite mindset.
Yeah.
Even I was talking to a Chelsea fan yesterday. Chelsea, I think they're second in the league, third in the league, and they're already saying, "Oh, it's not good enough." If we were second in the league, our fan base would have parties on the streets. They would dancing, loving life. That's the difference between Arsenal and Chelsea. Do you think Arsenal will be doing this?
Second is too big. If we were fourth, we'll be celebrating.
We won an FA Cup and finished 8th, and yes, I was very happy. I'm not gonna say that in lying. I
was happy as well. It was.
I did not forget the fact that we were 8th in the league. I was like, we didn't do anything in the league. And if you look at Chelsea, if Arteta was at Chelsea, they would have sacked him after the Leicester game, after we lost 1-0. That international break, they would have brought in Allegri or a proper manager. But the problem with Arsenal is that the board is the problem. But you can't really get rid of the board because Stan Kroenke can fire the board, but Stan Kroenke doesn't really know a lot about football because he's American, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying all Americans don't know about football because I'm American myself, but he doesn't really know. Like, if you have a company, you hire people to run that company, but you don't really know that much about the company. You don't know if they're doing a bad job or not, if you get what I'm saying. So he needs to get rid of the board.
And for me, Nathan, he's not an Arsenal man. That's one of the problems we have. Chelsea have a Chelsea guy as an owner. He knows that he feels the pain as Chelsea fans feel. Stan Kroenke doesn't feel our pain. Stan Kroenke only knows how much did we make. At the end of the day, the good thing is any football club that keeps on declining and declining, you're gonna lose deals, you're gonna lose the money, you're gonna make the losses. And this is it gets worse because when he's making the losses, then he cannot invest again. I think for me, Kroenke is going to jump out of this at some point in time when he feels the club is making losses. He has to fundraise money from other institutions, maybe to fund us. He might lose at that because, trust me, if we finished 8th in another season and 8th in another season, we are going to lose a lot of sponsorship deals.
I was reading a story with Adidas or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was Adidas, but they sponsor us, and they were saying that if this club doesn't get back into the Champions League within the next 2 years, they're going to cut the deal. So basically, that whatever million that we're going to get. I'm not too sure what the company was, but it might have been Adidas. I might be wrong. but they said they're gonna cut off that deal because if I'm a company and I'm saying, oh yeah, we want you to, um, advertise our brand, but you're not playing at the highest level. You're playing in the Europa League. They're gonna lose money. They're not gonna get as many. So that money plays a big part. In Stan Kroenke, the one thing I don't really understand is that one thing I will give to him is that Arsenal do spend money. We do spend a lot of money, but we spend on the wrong stuff. So Stan Kroenke should be sitting there, or Josh Kroenke, I don't. His son should be sitting there saying, you know what? Let me get a new scouting system. Yes, we're spending money, but we're spending money on the wrong people. We need to get a new scouting system. Talked about we need to clean up, get rid of. I said almost said Gazis. Get rid of what's his name, Vinay, because Vinay he doesn't really know much about. He's on the marketing side of things. He doesn't really know much about football. So we need to get a guy in that knows football. Maybe get Mark Overmars at Ajax. He used to play for us. So maybe get Bergkamp, I don't know, get somebody who knows football, who actually loves the football club, that would take it into the next direction. And if he doesn't want to do that, then just sell the club. Sell the club to Dangote or something. Sell it to somebody.
Yeah. I think we need to get in a national man. What midfield issues, so much, but the manager. You talk about Allegri. I think about Engineers, man. I don't know whether Leipzig are that open to letting him go. He's just brilliant. He's so good. I don't know whether they will let him go, but what do you think? Do you think we can afford a manager like Allegri or Engineers, man?
We could afford Allegri.
Allegri.
If you have a proper mindset as an Arsenal board, you're gonna be like, you know what? It doesn't matter how much we pay you. We're gonna go to. We should be calling up Allegri, saying, you know what, we're gonna pay you 10 million a year. Come fix the club, because he's sitting there. Allegri's won multiple titles in Italy. Now I'm sure he wants to come back and be regarded as the elite managers. He's been to a Champions League final, but because of Messi, I mean, you can't really stop Messi. I can't really blame him for that. But because of Messi, he lost. But he's made it to these European finals. I'm sure he wants to prove himself. But my issue with it is that with these Italian managers, that they're very not arrogant, but they know like what they can do. So I don't know if he's gonna come in and say, "Oh, you guys are in the Europa League," but hopefully he comes with. And that RB Leipzig manager, I'll be honest with you. See Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Arteta, they really just. I don't want a young manager. I don't want a young manager at all. I want a manager that's maybe 50, 60, maybe not 60, but an older manager that's a bit more experienced. Because yes, Nigel Guzman is a very good manager, but I don't know. I feel like he still need give him a couple more years at Leipzig, and then maybe he can come to the Premier League. But right now, my first choice. I know my first choice changes sometimes, but last week it was Pochettino, but I think this week, right now, it is Allegri. I want Allegri to come in because one thing he plays defensive football, but one thing you have to understand that he played with flair players. He played with players like Ronaldo, Higuain, Dybala. So he knows how to play attacking football. He knows how. He's just a manager that knows how to defend and a manager that knows how to attack. So that's what I want, a guy that's balanced.
Milano Allegri. Of course, I'll be dropping a video tomorrow, guys, about who should be the next Arsenal manager. I'll be mentioning a couple of names: Angel Nagelsmann, Allegri, Pochettino, Diego Simeone, and others. And then we will try to evaluate who can pull us out of this mess, because it looks like we are drowning more with Southampton, Tottenham, Burnley, and Chelsea coming up. We are going to drown. It's like we are going to drown. You guys know that. If we cannot beat Wolves, Leeds, and Aston Villa plus Leicester City in a row, he can't beat Tottenham, Everton, Southampton, and Burnley. He just can't. But what are your thoughts on Diego Simeone? I thought he has overstayed at Atletico Madrid. If you offered him a chance to move away, he would. But do you think in the first place would he go for Arsenal? Because I don't see any reason as to why he would choose Arsenal anyway.
He's not my first choice, but I really like I really like Simeone.
Yeah, he's a banger. He's a banger
Yeah,
manager.
he's a proper manager, and I want a
Proper
manager
manager.
that's gonna
Exactly.
come.
Yeah.
He's gonna, oh my gosh, I don't even want, he's gonna come in. He's gonna absolutely destroy Granit Xhaka. He's gonna
Yeah.
destroy him. He's gonna destroy Hector Bellerin. He's gonna destroy Mustafi. He's just gonna come in the dressing room. He's gonna take them, grab them by the shirt, and just literally just throw them out the whole dressing room. Bro, it's gonna be hilarious. They're just gonna get dropped. But one thing I like about him is that he's disciplined, and because he grew up and he played in an era where defensive, you have to be switched on. So he's gonna bring solidity. He's gonna bring in players that are gonna want to play his system. And even though it's park the bus football, they Atletico Madrid do play some good football. You gotta remember they have some
Yeah.
decent players like João Felix. And
Yeah, and the way he has transformed Real Madrid for in the past 5 years, past 6 years, he has been there. They're quite amazing. They're unlucky that they have not had a Champions League in there, but they won the league. They're so amazing. He has amazing players. He has always had amazing players. The Diego Costas, the Antoine Griezmanns, the Saul Niguez, all those kind of players that have been at Atletico Madrid, the Godins and so on. I think if you give him a chance at a club like Arsenal, give him a budget that he wants, he might transform us maybe to some sort of club that we have not been in the past 20 years.
I just want to. I'm not having to go at people in the chat, but like I see people in the chat like saying, "Well, only like 2 wins off the top 4." What if we go to Tottenham and we lose? Then you say, "Oh, 3 wins, 4 wins. Oh, don't worry, we're almost there." But by the time we get to January, we're like 20 points off the top 4. That's how it happens. Because you sit there and say, "Oh, we're overreacting." We're actually not overreacting. We're being proactive and we're realizing the problem from early. Because if you sit there and say, "You know what, give Arteta time, he needs creative players." Arteta is a defensive manager. He is a defensive manager. No manager is gonna come in. No manager is gonna come in and all of a sudden play attacking football out of nowhere. Yeah, he's gonna. You can say he needs time. Okay, cool. But our Arsenal Football Club, you don't learn your trade at Arsenal Football because since we're so big and we need to start competing now, you're gonna have to bring in an experienced manager. And people talk about creativity. We don't have enough creativity. He put Ozil on the bench, even though I don't really rate Ozil. If you want a creativity, at least maybe Ozil can give you maybe 3 good games a month. Maybe I don't know. Even though he's not consistent, maybe he can give you that little bit of creativity, a little bit of a spark. But he dropped him. And we do have creativity a bit of creativity. And so we have Willian, we have Saka, we have Ceballos, but he can't get them to perform at a high level. So bringing in Szoboszlai under this manager, what makes you think he's going to take a 20-year-old that's coming from a farmers league and to make all of a sudden turn him into the next Frank Lampard? If you can't even do that with Danny Ceballos, a player that's already established. So you have to get a new manager. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to sack him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was on the wall. I was like, let us stay with him. But for me, I don't see him as a manager. Even if you give him Messi, Ronaldo, Pirlo, Diego Maradona, RIP, you give him Xavi, you give him Iniesta. I don't see him as a manager who has options of opening up play and using these players for the benefit of the team. I just see him as a manager who has reached the end of the road, but we are trying to push results out of him, and we are going to get nothing. If you're milking a rock, I'm telling you guys, you're on the stream, if you're milking a rock, there isn't anything you're gonna get from milking a rock. You guys know that. Rocks don't give milk. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Come on, Nathan.
But there's certain managers that can get the best out of players, and then there's certain managers who need good players. If you look at Klopp, he don't really need good players. Like if you look at Mohamed Salah, he's always been a decent player. But look at what he's turned into a world-class player. Like there's certain players, like if you look at Pep Guardiola, I love Pep Guardiola. I love the way how he plays football. I love the way how he's always been my favorite manager. I know he's kind of been going on a downward slope over the past couple of years, but what he does is that he's not like Klopp. If you go, I'm trying to say Pep needs good players. Not saying that Pep hasn't turned. Pep has turned Gabriel Jesus into a good striker. He's turned Kevin De Bruyne into a world class midfielder. But if you look at Klopp, he's that player that can turn water into wine. He's one of those managers that can work wonders. If he had our squad, we can challenge for top four. If we had managers like Hassan, who he can get the best um out of our players. But for me, I think Mikel Arteta is one of those guys that he's just one of those managers who needs good players. And even though we have some decent players, the players that are average, he cannot turn those players into good players. If you know what I'm trying to say.
If you're talking about players, managers that can turn players and get the best out of them, selecting, thinking of future managers, did you think about Marcelo Bielsa, Leeds?
I don't think he'll leave Leeds.
Yeah, I don't think he leaves, but it will. He has been at Roma. He has been at Marseille, Olympic Marseille, in the past seasons. Probably in the past 5-6 years, Arsenal will be his biggest job. Maybe we can tempt him with that or something.
I hear that, but it just goes to show you that Mikel Arteta is still learning. And if you look at Leeds players, most of them are championship players. If you look at Brighton's players, most of them are championship level players, but they play better football than Arsenal.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because they have a proper system. If you look at Southampton, Cosy, do you think Southampton have a better team than us? On paper.
I know on paper they don't.
But they play proper. They play better football.
They play proper football, and they have
a good manager.
They have mastered the system they play. They have mastered, the set piece. They have mastered that set piece way of scoring goals. Against United, I'm gonna say United were brilliant. They were so good, but Southampton, relaxed a bit. If they hold tight in the second half, that game should have gone 2-1, 2-0, 2-2, probably at worst. I don't want to blame them. Maybe United was too heavy for them, but they play fluid football. They play attacking football. They can break down a team either through set pieces or creating or through creating chances, something like that. Something we don't do. But on paper, they are not. They're not better than us. On paper, we are something like fifth in the league. We have good players in every department.
Yeah, the only part where we're not really that good is I still think we need a defender. I still think we need a right-sided defender, and I still think we need maybe two midfielders. If you don't want to play Ozil, get rid of Ozil. I know Ozil doesn't really want to go because I know he likes being in London, but you have to get rid of these players. And when you're a big football club, you have to make some harsh decisions. Santi Cazorla, we had to make a harsh decision. Jack Wilshere, we had to make a harsh decision. But that's what it is. That's what it's about. So if you're not going to play Ozil, you got to sell him. You got to get rid of him. Got to pay him off, get him out of the club, and then get some new players. And the reason why I blame Arteta, and the reason why I also blame the club as well, because if you say to back the process, if you're going to bring in a manager that doesn't have experience, the least he can do is get him a whole lot of players. I know, I think on a different podcast, I did say he did get back, but when I say he did get back, he did get players that he wanted to re-sign, if you get what I'm trying to say, because he re-signed Saka, Martinelli, Luiz. So those are his players that he wanted to sign. But if you're going to bring in a manager, the least you can do is back him. I feel like we could have backed him a bit more. We did back him a little bit, but we could have backed him a bit more. But I feel like even if you still back him, the managers learn their trade at smaller clubs. I feel like if you still back him, you won't be able to produce, if you know what I'm trying to say, because he's not there yet tactically.
Yeah, it's true. I don't want to be mean to Mikel Arteta. It was the wrong job for him, and he was the wrong manager for us. I never agreed with him joining the club because I never saw anything in him. He tried to prove us that maybe you guys are wrong about him, but he wasn't. He was a puppet spotted by the board to ruin this club. What's up? No, big up Relentless Guna.
Oh,
Big up
that's
for
actually
Ben.
me. That's me.
Yeah. Oh, Relentless Gunner,
Yeah,
you're the
yeah.
one. All right. There. So big up, Nathan. Thank you always for joining in. And I've been away. I've been at school, but now I'm fully back. And this one is saying good news about how similar. And this is what I'm talking about. Yes, we know Arsenal fans, we love transfers, and I'm going to tell you, Nathan, this month and next month you're going to see a lot of traffic on this channel because we are going to be talking transfers. But is how Semawa or Zobozlai, one player like this, going to solve the problems you have? Do you think one player is going to solve the problems we have, Blind?
It's a step in the right direction. Um,
Yeah.
but will it solve everything, and will everything just be all positive and good vibes? And
Oh.
no, it won't. It won't. But it will be a
Wow.
step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Will it work under Mikel Arteta? Who knows? Maybe, hopefully, he'll be sacked by then. But um, who knows? I don't think they're gonna sack him anytime soon. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It'll be a right. It'll be a right step in the direction. It'll be like a good step in direction. But will it change everything? I don't think so. You still have to get some of the deadwood players out.
Emma says Mikel Arteta should give Emily Smith Rowe a chance in the first team, bro. Don't you think so? Really, at times I don't want to put a lot of pressure on the kids. When these kids come in at such a time, you're going to put a lot of pressure on them because we expect much out of them. And the truth is, we need to give kids a learning environment. We need to give them chance. We need to give them time. These are kids. If he comes and makes a mistake because Arsenal is desperate, because the fans are desperate, you're gonna scold him. You're gonna shout, Emily Smith Rowe out. You know what you guys, are doing right now to some of the players I don't want to mention. These are young players, they're vulnerable. I don't want to, throw them into the lion's den. So probably it isn't the right time for Emily Smith Rowe. And that's why I'm not really so mad with Jack, with Willock, Jose Willock. I thought Willock should have started the season, maybe if Mikel Arteta wanted to use him. But right now, when everybody is looking so desperate, you just can't throw, such a player under the bus. You just can't. But what are your thoughts on Emily Smith Rowe? I wanted him to play before, but right now I think the job is too huge.
I think Smith Rowe he has a lot of potential. Um, Obviously Emery, you have to give props to Emery because he's the one who brought him through. Emery brought in a lot of young players, but see, Arteta doesn't really. He doesn't. I know Arteta doesn't really want to play him, but if he doesn't play him, the fans are probably going to get on him. But and I do agree with what you said about the fans. Sometimes fans we have short memories, so we can say like a player is really good, and then they can have one bad game, and then that's like the end of it. If you know what I'm saying. So we just need to take our time with some of these players, and
Yeah.
Arteta needs to know how to properly manage these players because you don't want another Alex Iwobi. You know what I mean? Because the thing with Alex Iwobi is that he had a lot of potential, but he kept on playing too much, and he got burnt out. So you don't want that to happen with Saka, and I feel like there's a possibility that could happen with Saka because I feel like we're playing him too much. If you get what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
no, we
Yeah.
just need to take our time with some of these young players, better manage correctly. If you feel like the player needs more time to develop, you have to send them on loan. Kind of do the Chelsea model, and that's why they have so many good players. So you have to know how to manage these players correctly.
Moses says I don't see a war coming. This Arsenal team is non-serious. Arsenal needs these three creative players: Dominic Zoboslai, House Semowa, and Isco. And our club returns to glory. That is Victor. What do you think about that? Isco, by the way, I had forgotten about Isco. How much can he improve us? I mean, I've seen him play. The last time I've seen him glorious, very good was 7 years ago at Malaga. When he joins Real Madrid, his career ends. Do you think he would be another Alexis Sanchez? Who'd blow up from Spain to England and blows up, and his quality is just overwhelming.
Um, I'll probably say Isco's one of the best like technical footballers like I've ever seen. Like on the ball, he's so good, man. He's absolutely like it's
I
so
agree.
good to watch. But you got to think about his age, and I'll take him on loan. You know, the reason I'll take him on loan is because if he comes in and he stinks the place out, then that means he can just send him back. You know what I mean? When you buy the player, I feel like then you're stuck with the player. You know, you never want that situation. Plus, a lot of these players, once they get to that age, they just want, a good, they just want a payday. You get what I'm saying? They just want to get paid. He might not have the motivation, but hopefully, if he was to ever come to Arsenal, hopefully that would kind of boost him, boost his confidence, and you can start to see the old Isco when he first got to Real Madrid. Maybe because having him in the team, it gives us creativity. It gives us somebody who can work hard, and somebody who can just start to entertain the fans a bit. Because right now the football that we're watching is shocking.
Something is shocking here from Emma. Says this is it. Sell Lacazette, go for Haaland, Aouar, Zabozlai, Isco. This wouldn't be Arsenal. This would be Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern. But I think Erling Haaland's contract has a release clause of 75 million, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Arsenal will meet that asking price or that release clause. So that is out. Aouar maybe in the summer. Zabozlai, January transfer window. Let's wait and see. According to Fabrizio Romano, it should be the next 2 weeks. And then Isco, I'm not really if Arsenal is. I'm not sure if Arsenal is interested in Isco. It has been just a rumor that hasn't been confirmed
I
there.
heard Everton. I heard Everton are interested in him.
Yeah, we are interested.
And also, I heard Chelsea are looking at Haaland as well.
But I don't see Arsenal go for Alan. If we are going to go for a striker, it's going to be either Otun Edward or Patson Daka. Those are the cheaper options on the market.
I'll say Edward from Celtic.
So Edward, yeah,
Yeah.
he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's a prolific goal scorer. We need a number 8 and a number 10. You're very true, Coffee. I cannot even argue about that. King says, our all the time is the Arteta answer to our coaching problem. Our all the time. Yeah, I understand we've been really singing our, and I really apologize for that. But news keeps on breaking, so we need to talk about it. Is Arteta the answer to our coaching problem? Nathan says no, and at this time, I think you don't need a bad manager like Mikel Arteta. I think he's just underexperienced. He's not bad, but underexperienced. All these other years of Spurs being horrible and Arsenal being on good form, yet Spurs still somehow were underdogs and won. No, not different now. It would be a typical Arsenal to win this weekend. What are your thoughts on that? It's Mr. 999 who says it wouldn't be a surprise if we beat Spurs this weekend.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. It's typical Arsenal, go to Spurs and beat them 1-0, the next week at home and Burnley get beat 3-0. So that's typical Arsenal. That just goes to show you that some of these players just don't care. So
we are only 2 wins off the top 4. Everyone is close. Anything is possible. People are overreacting. This is Mr. 999, and I remember you mentioned
we're also a couple points from relegation as well.
We are not a couple of points. We must be just 4 points from relegation. If I'm not really
4 or 5 close.
Anyway. We have 13 points, right? 13 points from 10 games, and the first team in the relegation battle is Brighton. No, is Fulham. They have 7 games. They have 7 points. That means we are 6 points. We are 6 points off the relegation battle.
I was joking. I didn't know we were that close. Jesus Christ.
Actually, if we lose to Spurs and Brighton win, we shall be 16th, 1 position above relegation.
Jesus.
But let me ask Arsenal fans, and I know you're watching, and even after I'm live, you guys are gonna watch this. Nathan, is it fair for Arsenal fans to be discussing how far or how close we are to the relegation battle? To the relegation battle.
Yeah, I mean we're close, so we might as well talk about it, right? So I mean, but God,
You know, this is how little we have become, that we are comfortable because we are 2 wins away from relegation and we are comfortable.
because I think who did we play last? Wolves. That game, that day was exactly the year anniversary since we sacked Emery.
Yeah, you know, Emery. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask you: do you think since that year ago have we made any like progression as a football club?
No, there isn't. There isn't. Actually, what we did was, I think we wanted someone right from the Arsene Wenger era. We wanted someone to blame as Arsenal fans because things were not going right, and the board seems too scary and too far for us to blame. So what we did, we blamed Arsene Wenger, and we were satisfied because he moved away. When Unai Emery comes in, we are satisfied with his start. He faces the same problems Arsene Wenger was facing. We blame him. He goes away. I'm bringing Mikel Arteta. He's facing exactly the same problems that the previous managers were facing, and we are blaming him. And trust me, in the next 4 games, this guy is going to be out of Arsenal, and we are going to get someone new to blame. There isn't anything that's changing, blood. There isn't anything.
Yeah, I agree. Just give me a second. I'm gonna walk out real quick. I'll be back.
It's okay. Simon says Arsenal should not sack Arteta. He should just he should just sign players because Arsenal is lacking creativity. Guys, that team is not only lacking creativity. Let us not lie. A team that lacks creativity is a team that takes the ball forward, reaches the final third, and fails to get it through. We don't carry that ball forward. Creativity is lacking, but it's not the only thing lacking in that team. Let's not lie to ourselves. Let us take the problem the way it is, and that's how we can solve it. The problem is not Aouar only. The problem is not Houssem Aouar or Dominic Szoboszlai only. They're just part of the problem. The problem is far-fetched. Problem is far-fetched, guys. He should bring in Aouar to Arsenal, and we still lose because we won't win Spurs and we won't beat Everton. Thank you so much. I love the honest opinions. Hi, Kosi, what do you think Mikel Arteta should do to bring back Arsenal to real cause? It's like we are to lose it for sure. I don't know what Mikel Arteta needs to do. I don't know what Mikel Arteta needs to do. Maybe change tactics. You think about that? I don't know what he needs to do, honestly. Bro, why is Arteta not giving a chance to Cedric and Ozil and Smith Rowe? I don't have answers for that. And I still ask myself, why is Hector Bellerin playing every game, yet he is still not good enough? What do you think about Balogun? He's a baller. He's a good player. But he's young. If Balogun comes in and you start giving in the pressure, we are giving Edin Ketia, he's gonna flop. So Balogun is a good player. I would love to see him play for us. No, but these are players that should be coming in the 80th minute when we have won 4-0. Bring in Balogun. He should score the 50th goal. Let him build his confidence. He's a good player. I would want him to sign a contract. Yeah, I would want to see him sign a contract. Beautiful goal in the Europa League. Beautiful goal. I want to go to stream the Champions League, guys, on my second channel. By the way, check out my second channel. It's called Kosi Talks Football. How did I forget that? Check out my second channel, Kosi Talks Football. I'll be analyzing games, transfers for other clubs, including Arsenal, of course, and the other things. I think Aouar is good, but like Pepe, not world class and overpriced. This is Norton. Julia says, my question is, does Arteta think about Balogun? I don't know. He has given him one game like this. Aouar is a player we must sign. This is Isganes back. Can't wait for Martinelli to come back. And finally, from Isganes and the stream, we must beat Spurs, even if it's 1-0. We need points, and this is a big game. Yeah, it's a big game, but Arsenal doesn't play big games like big games, and we don't play small teams like as if we are playing small teams actually. But I've been with the one and only Nathan. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today, Nathan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, big up, bro.
Yeah, maybe as we just close, thoughts about Balogun?
He's a good player. He's a good player, but I like to take my time with some of these young players because Nketiah has a better goal scoring record than he has in the academies. And look at Nketiah. But I do think he has a higher ceiling than Nketiah. He's bigger, he's more physical, and I think he has a bit more pace and power than Nketiah. Nketiah is not big enough to like lead the line, but if we manage him right, I think he can become like a good player for us.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. We shall be talking about the Spurs game first. We shall deal with that one for the Molde game. Then we shall be talking about the Spurs game and so on. Catch me if you want at the second channel, Kosi Talks Sport Football. I think I should look at the PSG Manchester United game. It's the biggest game. Yesterday I didn't do. Like I say, I was at school, and my apologies. But now I'll be giving you daily content. Tomorrow I'll talk about the managers we need to bring in, but I'll also talk about Thomas Partey's recovery, because it looks like maybe he's going to come back by Spurs. He wants to come back. Mikel Arteta says maybe the injury is a little bit harsh. And then Gabriel Martinelli is also coming back. We need to look at the transfer roundup tomorrow. What do you think? What do I think? And what do you think about the transfers tomorrow? The transfers will be a live video, so don't worry. You'll have a chance to participate. Do you think we will win? Let me start with Nathan. Nathan, Spurs is a hard game. Do you think we have a chance against Spurs?
Realistically, no. But yeah. I gotta back my team, so I'm going with a 2-2 draw.
The only thing I would go for, against Jose Mourinho is one. He's going to sit back and wait for you to make a mistake, and rarely does Arsenal make mistakes this season. If you can't bring the ball to our feet, to our mouth, to our door, we are not going to eat it. We are not going to eat that ball if you don't bring it. Arsenal rarely comes out to make mistakes. You're not going to get us on the break and expose us. Like at the Arsene Wenger era or the Unai Emery era. So it will depend. For us to win this game, it's going to depend. I don't feel like Arsenal is going to win this game, guys. Okay, if we are going to get a point in this game, it will depend. Is Spurs here to win the game, or are they here to sit back? If they sit back, I think it's gonna be a draw. If they attack, it's gonna be a loss. It's gonna be a loss.
Cause I look at this game as in the show that's gonna break the camel's back. You see a lot of these like AFTV fans, like all positive fans. They can sit there and take a loss against Villa, against Leicester, but when it comes to Tottenham, I think a lot of Arsenal fans are going to show their true colors and flip-flop and say, I tell this, I tell that. Like, I don't know where you stand with Arteta, but for me, I've been Arteta out since the Leicester game. So, I mean, there's nothing new for me.
Actually, at a Spurs, at a point where Spurs is leading the table and Arsenal is at the bottom of the table, no Arsenal fan, especially those in the UK who are very close to Tottenham fans. For us, the advantage we have is when you're outside the UK, there are very little, Spurs fans as compared to those in the UK. So you don't feel the pressure. But I know there is a lot of pressure on those UK fans, and that's why they're really going to, steal the show. And I know Mikel Arteta is going to lose that one. Let him prove me wrong.
He won't get sacked though. He won't. I don't think.
Yeah, he won't. No, I know he won't. He won't get sacked on that game. He won't get sacked on that game, because if he was going to get sacked, probably we should be. We would have listened. We would have heard that Arsenal is talking about someone.
Yeah. I mean, I did see like a story that's saying like they looked at like the odds or something, and they said Allegri is like I don't even know how odds work, but they said he was like 8-1 or something like that. I don't know. Like he's
I think those are media polls that point to what should be happening, but not what is really happening. All right, guys. It has been such a blessing. I'm taking the last comment from Isganes. He's one of my best viewers, so I cannot leave out his comment. Atita should stay. It's listen, listen. It's his first manager job, and it's for a big club. He has a lot of pressure. He is young. Let him learn. Let him learn. But where are we going? Let him learn when we have
he
the championship.
wait, did he say he wants him out or
No, he says let him stay
oh
and
he wants
learn.
him in? Oh, the way he wrote it is like he wants him out because that's exactly what he just said. There's the exact reason why I don't want him. He
Yeah,
literally just put the reason why I don't want him
yeah,
because he's young. That's the reason, and he's learning on the job. You know, that's bad. You know, you don't learn on the job with Arsenal. Like we're not a toy. We're not an experiment. So I think he has to move on to another club. I'm not saying that he won't be a good manager in the future, but not at Arsenal. Mm.
okay. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It has been such a wonderful stream. Thank you so much, Nathan. Tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel, same what? Same host.
Same old Arsenal.
Yeah, the same old art actually. The same that hurts. That really hurts. But make sure you tune in because there isn't anything. There isn't anything we have to do. We got to cover our club. He has won more trophies in 7 months than Pochettino did in his whole career. These statistics are misleading. These statistics are misleading Ghana's.
Di Matteo won the Champions League in the FA Cup in 26 games. He's the best manager to ever grace world football. And Chelsea still sacked him.
Yeah, and I've not had an Arsenal fan asking for Romateo Di Matteo. They should have been asking for him.
He's the best manager to ever grace world football. Come on.
Okay, guys. Let me leave you, Isaac Gunners. But the Isaac Gunners has a YouTube channel. Please check him out. He has a YouTube channel that creates Arsenal content. So please do check him out. Please do check him out. He's an Arsenal fan that really creates good content. I'm gonna be signing out.